presenting in front of your class or performing in front of an audience like this, when suddenly you lose your place, you blank out, and the room goes completely quiet. Every second of that silence feels longer than the last, and you realize you can't just hit escape. This isn't a video game, and there is no pause button. You have to continue. What do? Most of what we're taught about resilience focuses on what happens after the crash. You go home. You think about it. You write about it in your journal, and you talk to a parent or friend, and you come back stronger. And that matters, but it doesn't help you in the silence when everyone is watching and waiting right now. Dealing with that is a completely different skill. We call resilience a life skill, something you build slowly over the years. But I think resilience is a live skill, something you use in real time when things are going wrong. And this was something I learned the hard way. I've been singing since I was 7 and performing since I was 10. And I used to think the entire goal was perfection. Step in, perform, step out. But the more I step onto a stage, the more I realize the real skill isn't perfection. It's focus and presence and staying in the room when perfection walks out. During one of the competitions a couple of years ago, one judge kept on criticizing me over the same technical flaw. Again, and again, and again, across 4 different songs. It was disheartening, but instead of feeling discouraged, I took each critique like a live update and adjusted on the fly. For my final song, that same judge gave me the gold, not because I became an amazing singer overnight, but because I learned how to adapt when it still matters. But for this year's competition, though, it got a lot harder, and the performers got a lot stronger. So I stepped on stage for a classical piece, took a deep breath, and waited for the pianist to start playing. But when the music started, my heart dropped, and I realized something was completely wrong. The pianist was playing in the wrong key. My mind was racing, trying to figure out what to do. I could stop, look at the judge, and let everyone know something had gone wrong. Or I could continue, because once the song starts, the judging begins. So I kept on going, and I kept on singing until the very last note. But that wasn't even the hardest part of the week. One adjudicator had judged several of my songs, harshly and openly, in front of every competitor, in front of every parent, and in front of every teacher. I felt so humiliated, so I started crying. I had another category to compete in a couple hours later, but I questioned whether I should even go back because the experience was so disappointing. But then, my mom and sister reminded me that competitions aren't only about winning, but they're about learning how to do better even when it hurts. So, when the tears stopped pouring and my mind cleared, I went through the feedback, past the harsh tone and past the way it landed, and I just focused on the changes that I can make. So, clearly, I went back for the final song, and I placed. But this time, that wasn't the victory. The victory was that I stayed. This isn't about never falling apart, bouncing back like it was easy, or making magical comebacks. This is about receiving the feedback, making small adjustments, and choosing not to walk away when it matters the most. But this doesn't only apply to performers, it applies to everyone here. The player who fell behind before the second half of the game hadn't even started. The debater who lost their place in the middle of their speech. And the straight-A student who couldn't think of the right answer during a math Olympiad. It applies to anyone who has ever been stuck in a difficult moment and has had to decide, do I quit or do I push through? So the next time something's going wrong while it's still happening, don't let a single mistake be the last thing you do. Finish the next sentence. Take the next breath. Make the next move. Because resilience is not only a life skill that you build slowly over the years and store away for the future, but it is a live skill for this moment and every moment that comes next. Thank you.